up on today's episode of Technoid, we are going to take a look at Galaxy Unpacked 2020, talk about everything that was discussed, everything that happened, and the T-Mobile and Sprint merger is finally one step closer to being finalized. All of that and more coming up on today's episode of Technoid, so cue that intro. Yo, what's happening, everybody? Michael here. Welcome back to another episode of Technoid. Now, guys, I have some breaking news, some great news. My camera mod for the GoPro has finally been processed. The mod will be in by the end of the week, so higher quality videos are finally going to be a thing. You guys no longer have to see me film on my phone. You can kiss that goodbye, and we are going to get some good stuff. But welcome back, everybody. Hope you're having an excellent day. I know I'm having one too. But enough talking. Let's get this going. So, story numero uno. Story number one, Samsung Unpacked 2020. Now, honestly, guys, there was no surprise for me. I wasn't expecting much because everything was leaked. Before I even talk about the event, let's kind of recap what happened before this event. This wheezing bag of dick tips managed to get his hands on the Galaxy Bud Plus and literally did a full demo. Now, I would be standing here if I called him an idiot, a moron, but honestly, he's neither. He's just a guy that just wants to review it before everybody else does it. I don't blame him. And honestly, all I can say to that dude is, it's people like you that just take the fun out of surprises. Although, people were doing it anyway, so I can't really blame you. Mostly. But, in all honesty, he made a hands-on demo, so the Galaxy Bud Plus was already leaked way ahead, including its retail package. Then, at the Oscars, Samsung had a teaser with the Galaxy Flip Z. Now, at first everybody was mad, but then I thought about it and I was like, that's a cool little teaser. They're teasing things, and they showed off that Google Messages thing with integration with, Google Duo, and now we get to the event. So let's talk about everything that happened. I'm going to do this fast because I've already discussed these in videos. I don't need to do this, but I feel it's important that I do it anyway. So, first thing they unveiled, the Galaxy Flip Z. A foldable that is supposed to have super thin foldable glass. I am very interested to see Jerry Rig get a hand on that and do a little dirty dirt. But it is pretty cool. I like the idea. It is a little bit cheaper than the Motorola Razr, but $13.80 for a foldable that turns into a regular smartphone, not for me. Then we get to the S20, the S20 Plus, and the S20 Ultra. Everything we've already known, everything about the cameras, the great quality, all this and that, blah, 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 blah. We've heard this all before. And the prices, of course, are as they said. $999, $1,099, and $1,399. However, for all you complaining motherfuckers out there, oh, Samsung's so expensive, this is not right. They lowered the price of the S10, S10 Plus, and S10e. So you can still get a great, amazing Samsung device without having to pay $1,000, you fucking complaining pieces of shits. So there you go, I hope you got your wish now. And lastly, they also unveiled a couple more things. Some more partnerships with Google, integrating, again, Google Duo, which, fingers crossed, will have RCS support. The way that this works is with RCS, so fingers crossed that they do this. Originally, they said it will start with the S20, etc., but later on they will have software updates that will roll out to the S10 and the Note 10, so that's good to know. Next thing they also talked about is Netflix. Of course, these are the boring stuff. You really don't give a crap about this stuff, honestly, come on. Then you talk about Netflix, about how Samsung users and Netflix are the official provider for entertainment. The Galaxy Bud Plus also with Spotify, which we'll get to in a sec. And lastly, Xbox support with the Samsung S20. Speaking of the S20, the whole phone has been redesigned to the point where it honestly is pretty cool. You got 120 Hz display, good gaming quality, a good chip, 16 gigabytes of RAM if you decide to spec the damn thing out, and finally, 5G support standard. This is something that I've been wanting, and I'm glad that Samsung did it. I don't know about the price or not, but we'll discuss that later. And finally, Galaxy Bud Plus. Of course, these are updated with bigger speakers with a woofer and a tweeter, which I will be getting my hands on. I promise you guys I will get my hands on and review. Also, they talked about how you can now access Spotify and you can do more with it. Lastly, they then talked about is the whole belief of partnerships. We don't need to know that. So basically, the event in a summary, we all knew this was already happening. With the exception of the partnership announcements, everything that they said was pretty much out there for 3 whole months. There was no surprise. Samsung is part to blame, people are part to blame, but honestly, it takes the wow factor because there were a lot of things here that could have made a big splash had they just kept it tight, had they kept it quiet, and had Samsung stepped in and took some things down, like that Dick Tips that put the video out. If they stepped in and took it down so nobody could see it, that would have been like, okay, they're trying to have some surprise, but Samsung lets it happen. They don't care. And they're releasing teasers at the Oscars, which is not bad. It's a marketing publicity, but still, people are leaking these things left and right, and they take the fun and the surprise element out of it. And that's why I kept watching this event, because I knew everything that was gonna happen. I don't understand why Samsung for once can never have any surprise. The only surprise they ever have are the partnership newses and people that show up. That's about it. This whole event to me was okay, but it could have been so much better had if Samsung had done what Apple does, literally just keep things so tightly guarded, so sealed that you don't even hear. You could only just hear about rumors. You don't even see images. You don't even see promotions, nothing until the day of the event. Notice that people get surprised when they see products released at events they don't think is gonna happen. That kind of surprise. So overall, I'm okay with this. I like the devices. I think the starting price that they're asking for these devices are relatively fair. You're getting a lot in value. My only issue with this event is there was no surprise factor, and that killed it for me. And if you disagree, go right ahead. You know what? Disagree if you want. Not my problem. And to all those who complained about the price point, the S10 and S10 Plus have been lowered, so shut the fuck up. Now let's keep moving. Story number 2, T-Mobile and Sprint. After a long battle taking the span of almost 3 months, the merger is one now step closer. Thanks to the judge finally ruling in favor of the merger, the T-Mobile Sprint merger is now one step closer to being finalized. It has 2 more cases to go, so I'd give about maybe 6 months max. But the good news is the merger is now being stepped forward and being processed better. Now listen, if you don't like this merger, if you're all this anti-merger crap, let me just say one thing. I'm not gonna get political with this, but honestly, I think them taking Sprint would be a better thing for the smartphone industry and also for the cellular industry. For the smartphones, because we can finally have low, mid, and high bands support one phone unlocked. And number 2, for the cellular industry, we get better signal, better spread out, and nice adaptiveness to how these things work. Excuse me. Sorry. That was a good lunch, by the way. But the point is, this merger is going to do a lot of good. All the negative stuff are just possibilities that aren't even true. If you look at T-Mobile's, you know what? I'm not even gonna get into it. I'm gonna save that for Sam. So if y'all check out my buddy Sam, he covers everything about T-Mobile. He thinks the same way as I do. Check him out. He'll do a better job than me. And last story, last one up of the day. This one is not really a big one. This is just a side note. Also continuing on Android, it seems like Android 11, aka Android Q or whatever it is, R they're calling it, is going to be the rumored name for Android 11. Where do they come up with this? Can we just call it Android 11? Why R? You know what? That's cool. We'll see you in a few months. But anyway, that's it for today's episode of Technoid. Now guys, this was mostly to focus on the Samsung event. I had no intention of talking about the other 2, but I had to throw it in there just so you guys don't feel too bored out. So I apologize, but the whole idea is for Samsung. And listen, if you guys enjoyed the event, that's all that matters. You don't have to listen to what I have to say, but if you enjoyed the event, you liked what they were giving, I personally think they did a great job. They're giving you expensive devices, but they're giving you a lot in these expensive devices. And if you don't want to buy them, you can always get the S10 and S10 Plus, which are still great devices, and they just got a price reduction. So there you go. So no more complaining. I don't understand why people are complaining, but you know what? You can't satisfy everybody. It is what it is, and that's it. That's all I could say. So thank you so much for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed it. Hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe. Turn on your notifications. And that's it. Thanks for watching, and peace!